Hello, Ben Silk Sports back with another video, and I'm here today, and I will be predicting the 2026 March Madness bracket. And what a year we have in store for March Madness. The seeding is basically set, and some games to finalize the 11 and 16 seeds tonight, but we're gonna take a dab at it, and I'll be talking about, I don't know so much about these teams, I know a little about these teams, so I'll be giving my predictions and giving my limited knowledge, little bit of knowledge about it. But let's get started off. We got Duke taking on Siena College. Upset? No, I'm kidding. Yeah, Duke. It's going to be an easy win for Duke. Good for Siena. They made the tournament, but unfortunately, I don't think they'll get it done. We got Ohio State versus TCU. I think that's going to be a win for Ohio State. It's going to be a good game. Comes down to the end, but Ohio State gets it done. St. John's. St. John had a great year. They won the Big East over UConn, put in as the 5th seed. I think they get it done, no problem. We got Kansas, and we got Cal Blips. I don't know, whatever it's called. Kansas gets it on done. I called a game this year with Kevin and Anthony where Kansas played, and it was Kansas got the big win. No, wait, I don't know what I'm saying right now. No, it was Kansas that fell short to Arizona, but they gave up Arizona a big fight, and a team like that, I think they're going to play tough in the tournament for sure. Yes, Arizona won by a bit, but there was a point in the game where it was only 4 points. They came back down by a bit. Then we got Louisville versus SFLA. I think it's going to be Louisville who gets it done. Then we got Michigan State, and I think they're going to get it done here. You got UCLA taking on UCF. I think UCLA gets it on done. And then you got UConn. I think, UConn, to no surprise, gets it on done there. So for this first bracket, it's going to be 1 through 8 to start it off. But on to the next one. We got the South, and we got Florida. I think that's an easy win. They get it done, beating the 16 seed there. Then you got Clemson and Iowa. I'm going to go Iowa here. I think Iowa is going to find a way to get it done. They're a good, solid team. They get it done. Then we got Vanderbilt, and you got McNeese. Vandy, I think Vandy will get it done. Then you got Nebraska taking on Troy. I think Nebraska will get it done there. You got North Carolina take on VCU. I think North Carolina will get it there. You got Illinois taking on Penn. Illinois, a good team. Then you got St. Mary's takes on Texas A&M. I think it's going to go to, the series will go to Texas A&M. A surprise there. And then Houston, Idaho. I think Houston will get it done. Now on to the next round. Next bracket. We got Arizona, where I think Arizona is going to get it done here. You got Nova. They're going to take on Utah State, and two solid teams. Utah State, they had a solid year, so did Villanova. I think it's going to be Villanova, however, who gets it on done. Then you got Wisconsin. They take on High Point. Two teams that had a solid season. High Point went 30-4. I think it's going to be High Point who pulls out the surprise here, and the 12th seed beats the 5 seed here. Then you got Arkansas taking on Hawaii. I think it's going to be Arkansas who does get it done. Then you got BYU who takes on the 11 seed Texas. But I do think it's going to be BYU who gets it on done. Then you got Gonzaga. They're taking on 14 seed. I don't even know how to pronounce that team there. I think Gonzaga gets it done. Then you got Miami taking on Missouri. I think it's going to be Miami who gets it done there. And then Purdue versus Queens. You got Purdue there. But I think Queens is going to give them a fight and potential for an upset. But at the end, I do think it's going to be Purdue who does get it done. But I think Queens is going to play them tough, possibly an upset. But yeah, that's too much of an upset to pick. It's not going to happen to Purdue twice. But you never know. On to a final bracket for the first round. You got Michigan taking on Howard. Not much to say. Michigan's been a solid team all year long. They'll get it done. You got Georgia. They're going to take on St. Louis. I think Georgia gets it on done. You got Texas. You got Texas Tech. They take on Akron. I think Texas Tech gets it done. Then you got Alabama taking on Hofstra. Upset alert. I think Hofstra is going to find a way to pull off the upset. Maybe I'm giving a little bias there because that was one of the final colleges I almost went to. But still, I think there's going to be an upset around here. I think Hofstra could do it. It's a big accomplishment that they made it this far. I think they get it done. Then you got Tennessee taking on Miami, Ohio. I got Miami, Ohio pulling off the upset. Then you got Virginia taking on the 14 seed there. I think Virginia gets it done. Then you got Kentucky. They take on, I don't even know what school that is. I think Kentucky gets it done. Then you got Iowa State. Easy win there for them. They beat Tennessee. So that's my first round. Just a little bit of a glance at the second round games now as we're going to get started. Let's go back up here. You got Duke and Ohio State set for a good second round. This game's going to be a doozy. I think it's going to be Duke who does get it done, advancing to the Sweet 16. Then you got St. John's. They take on Kansas. Another amazing game. Both teams play tough. St. John's has been on a bit of a roll lately, winning their division in the Big East. And they went 18-2 in the Big East. Had a great season in the Big East. Coming off that game against UConn, I think they'll take that into the tournament and they'll have that energy still in this game against Kansas. I think we're going to be set up for an amazing St. John and Duke battle in the Elite Eight. But that will be to come. Then you got St. Louis as they are going to be taking on Michigan State. I think it's going to be Michigan State who winds up taking this one. And then you got UConn as they take on UCLA. I think UConn gets it done. But now on to the South. You got Florida and Iowa. And I think it's going to be an easy win for Florida. I think Iowa plays them tough, but I think Florida is going to get it done. Then you got Vandy taking on Nebraska. I think it's going to be Vandy who pulls off, I guess you could say, an upset against Nebraska. I think Vandy gets it done. Then you got North Carolina. They take on Illinois. I think we see another upset here. I think North Carolina, always a solid team, a great program. I think they find a way to get it done. And then you got Houston, one of the top teams, the 5th seed team in the league, probably the top 2 seed, takes on Texas A&M. I think Houston has no problem here getting it done. But now you go on to the West. You got Arizona, you got Villanova. Villanova, been a great team in the past, but I think their one will come to an end here as Arizona gets it done. Then you got High Point and Arkansas. I think it's going to be Arkansas who does get it done. High Point's one will come to an end. Then you got BYU. They take on Gonzaga. I think BYU is going to find a way to get it done. And then to make it more wild, you got Purdue and Miami. I think Miami's going to stun Purdue here. And I think they win by like 10 points as well. Purdue obviously hasn't had the best luck in the tournament in the last few years. And I think that continues this season by far. So, yeah, you got the 6 and the 7 seed. BYU versus Miami in the Elite Eight. And then finally, we got the Midwest as we got Michigan and Georgia. I think Michigan stays alive, so all 1 seeds will stay alive for this round. We got Texas. They take on Hofstra. I think Hofstra does it. There's going to be an upset at some point. There's going to be a few upsets. I think we see it with Hofstra here beating Texas and making it to the Elite Eight, the surprise team. But we're not done. Miami, Ohio, I have them doing the same exact thing, beating Virginia and going to the next round where they will take on Kentucky. Yes, the Midwest is going to be the wild conference here as we got a 7, 11, 13, and 1 seed in the Elite Eight. But now, the Sweet 16, yeah. I don't know what I'm saying. Anyway, on to the next round. Let's start up here as we got 8 more games remaining, 16 teams remaining. This is to advance to the Elite Eight. And you got Duke and St. John's. Duke and St. John's. Will this be an upset? This is going to be a solid game for sure. If UConn, St. John's win, we may get a rematch, but I don't think it happens. I think Duke gets it done. And St. John's going to play them tough. By the end of the day, Duke's a better team. They'll get it done. Then you got Michigan and UConn. Not much to say. I think that's going to be an easy win for UConn there. Then you got Florida and Vandy. This is going to be an interesting one. I think Vandy, potential to upset Florida possibly. But I think it's going to be Florida who finds a way to stay alive and get it done. The reason why they're defending champs. Then you got Houston. You got North Carolina. I think it's going to be North Carolina who pulls a surprising win here against Houston, and they will advance to the next round. But now going on up, you got Arizona and Arkansas. Battle in the West. I think Arizona, they're too good of a team. They're going to find a way to get this one done. And then you got Miami and BYU. Miami coming off a great win against Purdue. I think they're going to overshadow this game, and I think BYU is going to be able to take Miami, no problem, and they'll play Arizona in the Elite Eight. Then you got Michigan and Hofstra. Will Hofstra do the unthinkable? No, I don't think so. I think it's going to be Michigan who's going to end the streak for Hofstra. Hofstra, they had a great run, but it's going to come far. It's going to be a rough game for them as they made it far, but at the end of the day, it's not meant to be for Hofstra. I think Michigan advances to the Elite Eight. And then finally got Miami, Ohio. They take on Kentucky. Let's put Miami, Ohio in the Elite Eight. People were saying they may not even make the tournament. Now look at them. The 11th seed in the Elite Eight. So you got 4 1 seeds remaining in the Elite Eight. And before we continue, I want you guys comment below. What predictions do you have for March Madness? What's your biggest upset? Who you have winning it all? And feel free to enter your picks in the Ben Silk Sports pool as well. And we'll see who gets the best score. But anyway, we are on to the East Final. And damn, this is going to be a good game. You got Duke. You got UConn. But at the end of the day, I think Duke's the better team here. You saw how St. John played UConn recently. I just think Duke They're too good, and Duke will get it done against UConn. But then you got, going down to the south, you have Florida and North Carolina, and I think it's going to be North Carolina who gets the upset here over Florida, and North Carolina will advance to play Duke in the Final Four. Then you have Michigan. They take on Miami, Ohio. Miami, Ohio, what an impressive one. But I think it's going to end here, unfortunately. Just playing a real-life team. Michigan's going to be too tough to beat, and I think Michigan will get it done. But what a great win by Miami, Ohio. And I think Arizona will come on top against BYU. And you got your Final Four. You got Duke. You got North Carolina. You got Arizona. And you got Michigan. And in our first game, we got Duke. You got North Carolina. You saw how Duke played North Carolina in the most recent game. I think that's going to continue. The momentum for Duke will continue throughout this March Madness tournament and the season. Duke's on a roll. I think they are heading to the championship game. Then you got, this game has so much potential. You got Arizona. You got Michigan. By the end of the day, I do think Arizona is the better team. And yeah, I think it's going to be Arizona who gets it on done here. So for my championship, got a battle of 2-1 seeds. Yes, may not be the most excitingest tournament with all the 1 seeds up there, but I think we're still going to be in for a good one. And we got a lot of good 1 seeds this year as far as I know. But you got Duke. You got Arizona in the championship. And probably, in my opinion, the 2 top teams in the nation. They're ranked 1 and 2 as of the end of the season. And yeah, Duke's been ranked the top team. But at the end of the day, something's telling me about this Arizona team. I called the game with Arizona against Kansas. They looked like a damn good team. And yeah, I called that with Kevin and Anthony. And yeah, they're going to be a tough team to beat in March Madness. And I don't think anyone's going to be able to beat them. And that is because I got Arizona. And I think Duke's going to play them tough. But I think Arizona, in overtime, is going to pull away in overtime. And they are going to be a 2026 March Madness and college national champions. So I got Arizona winning the college national championship. But comment, what do you guys think in the comments below? Who you have winning the championship? But I want to thank you for listening. I'm Ben Silk. Have a great day, everyone, and we'll see you next time.